everyone, it's Evangeline, and today we'll be taking a look at our Kelty Tuck sleeping bag right here at etrailer. So the Kelty Tuck is part of Kelty's different lines of sleeping bags. It comes in different sizes, different colors, and different temperature ratings. We'll take a look at those different categories later in this video, but first we're going to focus on what makes the Kelty Tuck special, which is going to be that it has an extra roomy design. So we're going to start from the toes and move towards the head. So at the toes you have this Spacious Foot Box. This allows you to move your feet around, and what I do actually is I store my other items over by the foot box. And if you need ventilation in the night, you have this easy access zipper. So you can just open this up and now you have access to that foot box. Pro tip, this is also where I keep my extra socks or my extra clothes. That way they're nice and warm in the night. Moving up, this zipper goes all the way up to show you the insides. What the Kelty Tuck is it's 1.5 inches wider than the other sleeping bags, giving you more room to move. Now about that zipper, it's not double-sided. I prefer the ones that you have like on tents where you have that zipper on both sides. This one just has a string, so if you're pulling from the inside, it can be a little tricky. The top zipper is designed a little differently though, just to make up for that. So notice how this zipper rotates, so you only need one lever for each side. It just is a little tricky figuring that out. Both the liner, which is on the inside, and the shell are made of a polyester taffeta, which feels very comfortable but also durable. Notice how thick this is. Well, the version I have is the 20-degree bag, but the bags for the Tuck line use the Thermapro Ultra synthetic insulation. So that's important because you want the right type of insulation for the right temperature. The Thermapro Ultra is a little bit of an upgrade compared to the Cloud Loft insulation you can find on some of their other types of bags. And finally, let's go over to the top where you can see the mummy style head that it has. So this is designed to cover your face. You have 2 different cinch straps here. So just try to figure out how to tighten that down. Okay, and here's our second strap. Just pull that. I did notice it's kind of hard to get just the best fit around you because there isn't that much space on top, but ideally you should just keep your mouth and your nose open. While I wish there was more room for the head, that way only my nose and my mouth is outside so I don't collect condensation on the inside, this is definitely very, very warm. In fact, I slept in this during a winter storm night when it was -8 degrees outside, and I was very comfy. So the thing with mummy sleeping bags that I'm always concerned about is how comfortable is it around the eyes. Here we have this nice soft insulated part which goes past the cinch string, and that's going to be what's over your eyes, keeping that safe and not cinching down on your head. So with this being a mummy style sleeping bag, which I prefer, but not everyone enjoys having everything covered, so it's definitely a personal preference, you can see how important it is to have the right size sleeping bag for you. So you can get this in children's, regular, women's, which is what I have here, or long. Let's take a look at that. So some of the Kelty sleeping bags come in different lengths. So you can have it ranging from kids all the way to long. So for kids, the height recommended for the sleeping bag is up to 5 feet tall. Then you have the women's, and the height recommended is up to 5 feet and 8 inches tall. The regular is recommended for people up to 6 feet tall. And finally, the long is going to be for people that are up to 6 feet and 6 inches tall. Keep in mind though that this is only the length of the sleeping bag and the height of the person. You also have differences when it comes to width, like the Tuck has a couple inches or 1.5 inches more of width, and there's other sleeping bags that are larger when it comes to width. So that's something to remember when you are choosing the right sleeping bag for you. So this is the Tuck 20, which is the 20-degree rated sleeping bag. So definitely make sure you have the right bag for the right conditions. So we have some different options for the Tuck line, ranging from 0 degrees all the way up to your warmer sleeping bag. So let's take a look at a comparison of those different types of degree ratings. So we have a bunch of different Kelty sleeping bags here with different degree ratings. So that's going to be ranging from 0 all the way to 50. So let's go over each of the different ratings and talk about what they're for and what kind of sleeping bag you would want for certain situations. This is the Kelty Rambler, perfect for summer seasons or if you're in a tropical climate or if you're in a low elevation area. Looking at the insulation, you can see it's very, very thin, which means you're not too warm at night, but this is also more lightweight and more compact than your other sleeping bags. And here we have the Kelty Cush and the Kelty Katina. So these are all rated for 30 degrees. So this is going to be slightly cooler than your Kelty Rambler. This is good for what we call two-season camping, which is usually spring or summer in certain areas. And this is a good in-between sleeping bag. If you're not too sure if you're going to be cold or not too sure if it's going to be warm, you'd want to go with a middle-of-the-road 30-degree sleeping bag. And these two here are 20-degree sleeping bags with differences. So this one uses the cloud foam insulation. So this is the Kelty Mistral. And you can feel that the insulation for this is a lot lighter than the Thermapro insulation that the Kelty Tuck uses. 20 degrees is what I would use during winter camping or cold camping, just because, especially with the Thermapro insulation, you want to make sure that it can handle condensation. Even if you are breathing inside of the sleeping bag or there is some moisture in the sleeping bag, you want to make sure it doesn't gather too much, then you're not sopping wet when you wake up. And finally, we have our 0-degree sleeping bag. This is really good for those really cold winter snowy nights. You'll want to make sure that you can handle those low temperatures. They usually have the mummy style because you want to make sure there's no condensation gathering on the inside of your sleeping bag and it goes out through your nose and your mouth. This is the Mistral, so it also uses the Cloud Loft insulation like the other Mistral sleeping bags. If you want a little extra insulation or extra temperature control, maybe take a look at the ones that use the Thermapro insulation, but still 0 degrees for those really cold nights. There are other sleeping bags out there that go even colder, like -20 or -30, but those are not part of the Kelty line. So for those ratings, different sleeping bag brands sometimes use different ratings. There's comfort rating, there's lower limit rating. Comfort rating is usually like how comfortable would you be at this temperature. So supposedly at 20 degrees, you'd be comfortable with a 20-degree sleeping bag. Other brands also have a difference between women's and regular sleeping bag ratings. So supposedly the women's sleeping bag is warmer than another sleeping bag of the same temperature. Now, I tried both of our 20-degree sleeping bags and I didn't really notice that big of a difference other than the Thermapro insulation being that much warmer than the Mistral insulation. So that's something else to consider. If you do feel like you need a little extra warmth, check out the women's line of sleeping bags. So my favorite thing about sleeping bags is that you get a stuffed sack, and rather than having to fold it up all nice and neat, you can just stuff it right into the bag and then store it. So you have a cinch strap here at the top, and that should help with keeping that compact. So the size dimensions of this is going to be about 16 inches tall and 9 inches wide, but that's going to change as well whether you have the kids or the long version, but you can see how much easier this is to store. So my personal thoughts about the Kelty Tuck is it's definitely worth the upgrade compared to the Kelty Mistral. Yes, the Kelty Mistral does cover all of your bases, but if you want a little extra comfort, you want that easy access foot box, especially if you're storing like your socks in there or your shoes, I would highly recommend this because you want to be comfortable and you want something that's easy to use. Now again, please make sure you get the right size for you because the mummy style is very important when it comes to size. But once you have that figured out, I was using this during a winter storm, and I was comfortable, I was warm, so if I was, you could be too. And that was a look right here at our Kelty Tuck sleeping bag here at eTrailer. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.